Hey there, Bryant Cook, and today I am playing in the Pauper PTQ with my favorite deck, Cycle Storm. I actually recorded a Cycle Storm video yesterday with a slightly different list, and I'll cover that in just a second. But first, I would like to start off by congratulating my very good friend, Alex McKinley, on winning the first Eternal Weekend with my 75. Alex played the same exact deck that I have been working on, and I shared that deck list to all people that were members of the YouTube channel's Combo Cabal tier. You can get early access and sweet things like that by becoming a top tier member of this channel. So make sure you do that. You too could have been the champion of Eternal Weekend with that sweet deck list, but you didn't become a member. So if that's not a selling point, you should definitely become a member. Check out all that stuff. That is the join button next to the subscribe button down below. So definitely go look at that. But today we're focusing on Pauper. And the reason that this deck list is a little bit different from the one that I played yesterday was that I had this revelation. I was playing a fun league earlier, and I boarded in 2 Dispel versus Affinity. And Affinity has been changing a lot recently. So they've been leaning heavier and heavier into black, and they have a main deck Duress, and they're sideboarding in 3 copies of Duress now. But you never know if they're really red-black or if they're Grixis or another color splash. So I've been getting hit by a lot more Duress recently, and these Dispels are kind of embarrassing. While they do stop Fling and Red Elemental Blast, I don't think that's enough anymore, because if they're not on the build with Dispel, it's actually kind of embarrassing. So I've been changing my game plan, because the builds with black have Disciple of the Vault, and so often the Fling doesn't even matter because Disciple plus Atog kills me. So I think I've been trying, well, I know that I've been trying boarding in Gnaw to the Bone instead. And that plan has been working fairly good so far. Granted, I've only had a sample size of 2 matches with it, but it was fine. I don't know if it's amazing, but it's fine. And if I'm not going to be boarding in Dispel versus Affinity, that means it's pretty much only for Tron, which is sort of a dying deck at the moment. So there's no real reason to play Dispel on the board. And if that's the case, you should just go up to 4 copies of Pyroblast for the Fairies decks. It's by far the best card in that matchup. So now I'm playing 4 copies of Pyroblast, and that left me with a 14-card sideboard. And when you have a 14-card sideboard, what do you do with it? You figure out what matchups could use a little bit of help. Well, traditionally, those big mono black decks with lots of discard are a problem, but we've never really had a good tool to beat it. I've tried things like Death Denied and Echoing Return. None of them have ever worked. But Repository Skaab has just been a revelation in this deck. And in theory, you could just play it as a 4-mana 3/3 that gets back your Reaping the Graves or Songs of the Damned slowly. So if they discard a key card, you just tap 4 lands, cast it, return that crucial spell, and helps fight against discard spells. This is not for the cute Go Infinite plan. That's not why we're playing it. You can post board if you want, but I just don't think that really matters, if I'm being honest. So the second copy of Skaab is really just for the discard matchups. And it's making me just reevaluate a little bit how I look at matchups, because Affinity's just been such a tough thing to figure out for me for this format. I think Cycle Storm, you're decent against Fairies, you're decent against Affinity, but you're not really favored against each. And that makes it kind of tough to go on a deep run. I'm going to try to go on a deep run today, but it's a lot like winning coin flips. And I do think Cycle Storm is favored against most of the rest of the format, but that in particular is kind of difficult. And when you look at the rest of the sideboard, it's kind of just stock things. Darkness, we've been playing for the Bogles matchups, also Mono White Heroic. Fairy Macabre has been seeing less and less usage recently, but it is pretty good against Mogwarts, but I'm not even sure what I would replace it with as part of the problem. It could be like a second Shredded Sales, I suppose, for non-blue decks that have Graveyard Hate. I've been boarding in like 1-1, but that's another thing it could be. It's just, you have to figure out what you want to be playing. So it could be a second copy of Shredded Sales, and it could be a third copy of Darkness. But what I've noticed is I never actually want to board in 3 copies of Darkness, because I feel like I'm overboarding. So just finding what feels right, and maybe if there's a new deck that pops up, we'll switch those out for something else. But right now, I think the board is probably correct. Who knows? Just tough to say. That's what I've got. Hopefully you enjoyed that weird deck tech. I don't know if there was anything insightful there or not, but hopefully you found something useful. And if you did, like, comment, and subscribe. Those things are free and easy to do. I already talked about becoming a member with that join button, so definitely go click on that. But you can also just go directly to theepicstorm.com/donation decks, where you can submit your combo deck to be featured here on this very YouTube channel. We also have theepicstorm.com/shop for card singles and Sweet Sweet Storm merchandise, including our mini token pack. Definitely go check that out. All right, this is going to start 4 minutes, so I still need to sign up. I'll see you in match number 1. All right, I don't normally do this, but I've decided to make a last-minute change. I am going to not play Fairy Macabre today. I'm just going to run the extra darkness and a second copy of Shredded Sails. I'm not expecting to face Mogwarts, so I'm just going to look to beat more decks. And if I am facing a non-blue deck with relics and stuff, I'm going to want the extra copy of Shredded Sails anyway. So I'm going to play this. Let's see how it goes. Sorry about that. I normally don't make these changes post-deck tech, but I just don't think I'm going to need Fairy Macabre today. Hopefully I'm not wrong. All right, now I will officially see you in match number 1. Welcome to match number 1, and we're on the play for this PTQ. This hand seems fine. I will keep it. We have the whole land and cycler thing going on. Would like to find land number 2 to help speeden up our cycling a little bit, but I do think that this is ultimately. Let's find out what our opponent's playing. Mountain. Okay. Let's cycle this. Looking for land 2. I will cycle the Street Wraith if we miss. I think I'm going to play that out and just cycle. I don't need a filter for a blue. I have this Lotus Petal. We're just looking to go fast. Ricky Bobby. If I had to guess, we're probably facing burn. It could be like blue-red Scred and they just let him out to try to trick me. I guess while we're waiting, I can look them up on Goldfish. I didn't do that. So the reason why I generally don't look people up on Goldfish for Pauper, maybe I will today, but what my opponent's playing ultimately doesn't matter for the most part. Like, my deck either does its thing or it doesn't. Pauper blue-red is something they tend to play a lot, so it's probably blue-red. Okay, I like the Dark Ritual pickup. Let's pass the turn. Yeah, they're going to cycle Ash Barrens for. Yep. Alright, blue-red Scred. Augur. Pretty stock. Picked up a Brainstorm. Take our draw step. I'm going to cycle this for the island. Cycle Street Wraith. Songs. Let's cycle the Vantis. I could theoretically try to win here. I could Dark Ritual. These would be 5. Be risky, but I could theoretically go for it. I'm gonna see what I can do. Let's cycle. Hopefully I get another creature. Or that's pretty good. Yeah, let's cast these. We still have this Mystical Teachings for backup. Cycle. 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 So I could Teachings for Songs right now. I think I'm gonna do it. This line is just like super risky because there's a decent chance that I don't hit to keep going, but we have a window here against the blue deck. That was a good draw. So what we'd like to find is just like mana and a Lotus Petal for this, so I can get back Reaping the Graves. Probably shouldn't have played that Dark Ritual. Let's cycle this. I could flashback the Teachings here, but I don't know how good that actually is, so instead I'm just going to pick up the Stinger and cycle. Okay. So I can Teachings. So I can go up to 9 mana, which is enough to Teachings plus cast Reaping Graves, but I won't have any mana floating. But I'd have a stocked hand. So just like creatures cycle away. Maybe that's worth it. Flashback the Teachings. So let's get Reaping the Graves. Cast it, return a bunch of creatures. Okay, so we're returning every creature in the graveyard. Question is, do I want to go to 10 and cycle these spirits immediately in case I had a Lotus Petal? I've played my land. I'm just gonna cycle. Okay. No, we have to go to cleanup. Discard this Baron more. Probably the Ash Barons too. Okay, so we have a reasonable hand now. Need to cycle into some rituals, but I don't hate this. Halfway through our deck, we've used 3 songs. Yeah, 3 songs. So we're really relying on this repository tab. Okay, so they've played an island. We're gonna go to 9. I think I'm just gonna cycle the Vantasaur. Like, I could cast Skaab here, but I just get burned by a lightning bolt. Like, why would I do that? And I think I'm gonna pass. Well, I've played my land. Yeah, I can just cycle on there. Up. We do have to be worried about, or worried a little bit about dying to like double bolt and a spell. So that either means that they have a ninja in their hand, or they're trying to speed up their clock and they feel like they don't need extra spells. Preordain. Okay. They have a 1 on top, 1 on the bottom with the. Is this a ninja? It is, so they're just keeping up a bolt here, which shuts off the Skaab, but they're giving me another window to try to win. Okay, so let's cycle this Architect. Like I mentioned, I do have to be worried about the Skaab being bolted. Cycle. Cycle. Okay. A draw. That can get us songs. Let's start off on just cycling the Stinger. Boy, okay. Cascabel Ritual. I'm wondering if I should try to play Celebrant to see if they'll bolt it in response to teachings. Because I would like them to bolt it, so that way I can use Skaab to make winning. Now let's cast Teaching. They didn't. So let's play songs. I'm gonna play the Skaab. I just need this to work. I'm hoping they maybe don't have Lightning Bolt for some reason. Or Scred. Perfect. So let's read songs. They missed it. They did have the burn spell. They messed it up. Okay, so let's cycle Baron. Perfect draw. Okay, now let's play songs. Reaping the Graves. Turn all of our friends. Okay, I'll be honest, I misplayed there. I thought I had enough to return all of them, so there's 1 Drannith Stinger that's not coming back. But it shouldn't end up mattering. Our opponent's F6 right now. So let's make a red mana and play Sting. Maybe they didn't. F6, they were just F6ing through the grave. Cycle. I'm fine with that. That's actually not a big deal to me, because now I can repository Skaab back the Songs of the Damned. So, like, that actually worked out quite well. Okay. So, I think it should be pretty easy to win from here. Play Stinger. Cycle Vantasaur. Cycle Healer. Or just have to make sure that you have enough mana to play Skaab plus the Song to the Damned is all. Cycle. Dark Ritual. Cycle the Dino. Petal. Okay. So I do think Songs is the card we want to get because we can Teachings for Reaping the Graves. Instead of blue. And let's play the Skaab. Play the Skaab. Back Songs the Damned. It's also, like, we don't have songs left in our deck, so you're better off trying to draw into something you actually have left than something you don't. And we can go to 1. I guess that leaves... Never mind. I'm just gonna cast the Ploy. You can discard a creature, gain a bunch of life. Now I can select these pretty freely. Apparently we had a land drop. Let's cycle Street Wraith. Going to 8 life. Cycle the Vantasaur. Oh, I have to play the red. Cycle Vantasaur. Cycle Healer. And there's Reaping the Graves. That's going to be the game. So I don't think I played this game perfectly, but we are going to get the job done. I'm just like clicking very quickly on these, trying to speed it up. I don't really care if I miss one. It's not going to be relevant here. We just need to close out quickly so we don't time out. Because by the time we're done winning here, we'll have spent 10 minutes of our clock. Okay, add a red. Stinger. The red. Stinger. Now we just have to cycle 3. Cycle. Cycle. So slightly over 15. We took game number 1 over blue-red script. Or blue-red fairies, whatever you like. Okay, so our new plan is we don't have Dispel. Remember that? I mentioned it in the deck tech. So instead we're just boarding in these 5 cards. Our opponent's deck list has 1 relic in it. So we could board in these Shredded Sails, or we can just try to dodge the relic. I don't have strong opinions, really. So we're going to board out Lotus Petal and these Architect of Wills. I don't hate boarding out Teachings. It's kind of just like clunky, and it's going to eat it to Pyroblast, so like kind of a liability there. So we can board those out and then board like this. I think that it's probably a pretty good plan. All right, let's go. And if we feel we need to, we can always board out another copy of Lotus Petal for the Shredded Sail. But I think I'm just going to try to dodge the one of Relic rather than trying to answer it. I love playing this deck. It is so much fun. I actually played a league earlier today. I think I mentioned that in the deck, but I just have a blast playing this deck. Like this deck is why I like Pauper. I play those other Storm combo decks like the Relay Storm deck and Total Storm, but like this deck is really what does it. It's just so deep in thought. Like there's so many decisions that need to be made all the time. And that's the kind of Magic that I really, really enjoy. So it hits that spot for me. I'm also just like desperately waiting for the next cycling set. Like I cannot wait. Like every master set that's announced, I'm just like, does this one have cycling? Does this one have cycling? There's a couple cards that I would really like to be downshifted. Vile Manifestation is one. Flourishing Fox. I was actually thinking about it, and even if it was downshifted, I don't think I'd play Zenith Flare, or if I did, it'd be like a one of, maybe in the sideboard. I don't think that card is as good as people think in the deck. If it was, we'd still be playing something like Haunting Misery or whatever it's called. Yeah, those are some cards I have my eye on. Also, Razaketh's Right. That would be a card I would play over Mystical Teachings. It's a 5-mana tutor that cycles for 1 block. I think it's from Amonkhet. Like, that's a card that I think could probably be done. It's just not that powerful. And if Razaketh's Right was in the format, I think you could probably get away with being mono black again. Alright, game number 2. We're on the draw. We're going to keep this. And just, let's see what our opponent does. Board pass. Draw. So, I do think Horror of the Broken Lands is, like, pretty good in this matchup. Because their only removal for it is Skred. So if you can get it above Skred, it ends up being very powerful. But you need a window to cast it, and then you kind of have to protect it as well. Okay. I'm just going to go get Mountain here. Pass the turn. They do have 4 counterspell in their deck. If you were like, Bryant, why don't you jam into their counterspell? That's why. They have 4 copies of counterspell. They might be considering here flashing in Spellsetter Sprite to work with their ninja. And if they do that line, I am going to attempt to play Horror of the Broken Land. If I'm being completely honest, I am fairly confident that our opponent's queuing some other event. I'm pretty sure Eternal Weekend's over by now, so it's probably not that. It could be like the Modern Challenge or Vintage Challenge maybe. But they're taking a long time for like basics. I'm pretty sure they're double. That said, our clocks are very similar because my deck takes forever to win. Our opponent plays blue-red decks in every format, which I find kind of looking at their gold. Okay, and they're finally back to playing Magic, I think. Okay, so now it's their turn. They played a mountain. They're just going to pass, so I'm not going to just jam horror in open mana. Draw. Playing go. There's the spell stutter. Cycling Ashbear. 4 open mana. Here's an end. So they're going up to 6 open mana. They still have spell stutter or counterspell mana open. I think I'm just going to cycle a horror. Draw. I could try to resolve horror here. It would die to a Skred, though, is the problem. I don't have any other cyclers. I don't think that's the line. I think I'm supposed to just try to draw into like a replay. Play a Lotus Petal. Pass the turn. Skaab isn't the worst draw, but I definitely need like a Fiscal Teeth for Reaping the Graves. I could try to kill the ninja. I'm just not convinced that's what matters. Like, I think I need this Pyroblast to be a counterspell and not a spell. Okay, so we're going to take 3 damage here. And it's another ninja. Okay. So the opponent's doing very well. I'm glad I didn't try to Pyroblast. We just need to draw a payoff. Like, that's what we're waiting on here. We need a Reaping the Graves. I think I'm going to try to get them to counter this. Alright, and just pass the turn. Yeah, I just really need a Reaping the Graves. Okay, Preordain. Opponent's hand is, you know, pretty stocked at this point. Tap land. This would be another good window if we could finally draw something. Draw. Cycle. Lotus Petal. I'm pretty close to death. This is 5. If they have a Bolt and another Sprite in hand, I'm actually just dead. I'll pass. Now they have just infinite mana. Like, I've had a few windows to win this game. I just never found my action spell. And you might be thinking, well, Bryant, well, if you didn't board out Mystical Teachings, you know, that's on you. Well, I don't think that's reasonable because they're a Pyroblast deck, and I don't know if they boarded Pyroblast or not, but it's a pretty big liability. We were already struggling to board out stuff. Okay, game number 3 coming up. Like, you could maybe argue that I'm supposed to board out Petal for Teachings, but then mid-combo you're a lot weaker. And it's less fixing for, like, double Pyroblast. I think that this is fine. I just need to draw better. Okay, game 3, and we are on the play. Reasonable hand. We have double Petal, which I don't love, but the rest of it's pretty good. Something we could do is try to accelerate into the horror. If I drew like a Dark Ritual on my turn. I'm just gonna pass and cycle for the mountain on their end step. Okay, the opponent. I'm just gonna go. Okay. Would really love to draw Dark Return. Go on the bottom with it. Reaping the Grave. Let's cycle Straight Faith. Let's cycle the Vantasaur. Pyroblast, of course. Let's draw another Pyroblast. I think I'm willing to Pyroblast an Indra if they put it into play, so I'm going to sack the Petal. So you might be thinking, well, why did you tap Mountain to cycle on your turn? I tapped Mountain because if I drew into Dark Ritual, I could still cast Horror of the Broken while they were tapped out. That's why I did it. Obviously, it looks worse when I immediately draw Pyroblast into Pyroblast, but I was really focused on possibly winning the game with the Horror of the Broken Land in my hand. Brains. I'm going to let that go. So if we draw an untapped land on our turn, I can play Horror. Did they miss land number 2? They did! Okay, cycle Street Wraith. Cycle Street Wraith down to 13. There's our untapped land. Feeling pretty good about this. Play the horror. Okay. You know that their brainstorm locks, so the Spiridane's trying to dig them out. We know that they don't want one and they kept the other, so they found land 2. They're just gonna get in there. We'll take our turn. I don't think I need to play that. So if they like play multiple cantrips on their turn, I can cast Reaping the Graves, which is better than playing out a Blood Sovereign, I believe. Okay, let's get in there. Hit F6. And when it's at 6. I would love here, absolutely love, if they just played triple cantrip. Or like, yeah, I guess triple cantrip is the best possible solution. And then I could bring back 4 creatures, including 3 Street Wraiths, Pyroblast one of their blockers, and just get in for a bunch. Okay. Is this a ninja? Okay, I'll go to 11. Is a ninja. I'm gonna Pyro. So no Reaping the Graves for me this turn. Okay. Good. Cycle this. This will put them to... Okay. I can Reaping the Graves for 2 here. I'm gonna get 2 Street Wraiths, so that way in case they have like a Scred in their hand, I don't lose my horror. Okay, so now they go to 10. And I'm representing lethal on my turn with the removal spell. Casting Profane. There's the 4th snow-covered land. Fairies here, okay. Red. Gorilla Shaman. Okay. Wasn't quite expecting that. I don't care about relic. In fact, all of our artifacts are in the graveyard, so that Gorilla Shaman is used. Get 4 cards. Just get in there, force them to start blocking. Okay, so they have 4 cards in here. 5 cards, I'm sorry. They get a draw. Now they're going to activate Relic. You can just remove a Lotus Petal. They're just passing. Take a draw. Skaab doesn't really matter here. This thing's just the Abyss, right? Okay, pass the turn. And we'll cycle Healer. Excuse me. Draw. Oh no! Oh no! I just punted. Oh my. Oh no! I can't believe I just did that. I guess they have to kill me in 4 minutes. Oh crap. Can't believe I just did that. Play Blood Celebrant. Oh my god. I just punted so hard. Wow. Okay. We're gonna go to 11. I have Ninja. Okay. Ash Barons. I can't believe I did that. Let's play Cabalret. I just can't believe I just threw the game. Fire Blast. We got rid of the Relic, but that doesn't really matter here. Cycle. Life. Cycle again. Cycle. That's the turn. I still know that they have a Spell Stutter in hand. Can't believe I did that. I had the game won. Okay. I'm so disappointed in myself right now. Alright, let's cycle the horror. Yep. 0 and 1. Round 2, I'm on the play. I'm just like so upset at myself right now over that play and match. Beating myself up quite a bit. If I'm being honest, I only got 3.5 hours of sleep last night. After scrubbing out of the second Eternal Weekend, I fell asleep and then woke up, and now I'm just like, I'm wondering why I'm even still playing. Like, I thought about dropping after a misplay that badly. But in theory, I can win out, so here I am, being angry at myself. I don't really know what our opponent is playing yet. This could just be like a new Bogles land, I suppose. Yeah, it is. Bogles is a pretty good matchup for us. Sure. Draw. Cycle the Dino. Cycle Drannith Healer. Trust me, I know you're probably disappointed watching this, but I'm even more upset myself. Dark Ritual. 6 cards in graveyard. You can sacrifice this for blue. Ritual. We can play one of these and then pass the Reaping the Grave, so that way we can get more mana out of the next two. My opponent in chat said GG's. I don't know if they're going to concede the match or not. Or they're just like, congratulations, you did your thing. I don't know. But I'm going to select. Because it's what my deck does. Okay, cycle that. Lotus Petal. Let's cast one of. Cycle the Healer. And cycle Bear. Okay, cycle this Vantasaur. Ball Ritual. Blood Celebrant. Petal. Petal. Play the Skaab. Play the Skaab. Back Song of the Damned. Song. At a blue. Cast Teachings. Go pick up Reaping the Graves. Cast it. Pick up Skaab. Okay. Right, now the Skaab comes back. We'll play Drannith Healer, or I'm sorry, Drannith Stinger. Let's get cycling. Cycle the Architect. Okay. Just keep cycling. Okay, so at some point we're going to play Skaab and pick up a songs. Dark Ritual. Cycle the Baron more. They're going to 11. We get another creature in the graveyard. And another one. And another one. Perfect. And now we play Skaab. Pick up the songs. See, this is what I'm talking about. I am so bad at Magic. I'm just like kind of tilted right now. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Like, that was just a blatant misclick. Now I have that stupid Skaab in play. Alright, I gotta play tighter. I know that I'm tired, but I can play better than that. Make another red man. Stinger. Actually, a little bit light on mana. Like, I have enough mana. That's actually not a concern. Because I drew the Dark Ritual. Draw. Yep. Okay, so we've won game number 1 over Bogles. And now we have these copies of Darkness. Those can come in over the Architect's to act as block. I don't think that this is cool. You need cycling creatures. This is just bad. Alright, I think we're supposed to bottom Lotus Petal. Force and a Bogle? Okay. Fun and growth. Draw. Barrenmore. We're looking to draw another swamp. Another abundant growth. They now have land number 2. Ooh. Alright, let's cycle horror. They hit their second land. The ledge walk. Cycle the stinger. There's our second land. Cycle healer. Okay. So while things are looking a little bit better for us now, we still have to find more cyclers. We could use teachings to go get Reaping the Graves. We have darkness to buy a little bit of time. Copious. That's an ethereal armor and an attack for 5, putting us to. Let's cycle street. Cycle this. I'm just gonna play the Baron more and pass. I can try to win next turn. So ideally, they would just like tap out for Mask here, and then I would Darkness. Ancestral Mask. And I will cast Darkness. Black Fog. And now we get to go off on our turn. So now all of our songs make an extra mana. That was a good draw. So we want to storm for at least 6 here. Sacrifice this. Cast Teachings, go get the last copy of songs. And Reaping the Graves. Cool. Okay, so we've got the game. We just have to finish winning. Our opponent's joking in chat about how they've enjoyed our time together. How lovely of them. Just keeps. You have to remember when people are saying that kind of stuff, they're not mad at you. They're more mad at the situation they're in. And I can relate. I am not happy about having lost right now. So it's fine. I'm mad at me too. Songs of the Damned. Alright, they've had enough. So we are now 1-1 in this PTQ. This event is 7 rounds. We were barely over 100, so there's 5 more matches left to go. I just need to play tight and no excuses. That's it. Play tight and be mad at yourself when you misplay. That's the real lesson here. See you match number 3. Match number 3, and we're on the draw. We're gonna keep this. It's just a great hand. A little less frustrated than I was after round 1. I didn't have much of a time break between round 1 and 2, and obviously my frustration it showed. Well, I had 40 minutes in between round 2 and 3, and a little more level-headed, just looking to play tight. And this is a pretty good matchup for me if they are on Boros. So let's just play tight and try to win. All right, cycle this Ash Baron. Go get a swamp. I could go get an island, but I have a feeling that we're going to want to go get that or use it mid-combo. And I don't want that slowing me down. Okay, so a card that we do have to be wary of in game number 1 is Prismatic Strands. But that said, with this newer list, we can beat Prismatic Strands a lot easier in our opponent's upkeep. I've done it a number of times in videos recently, so it's pretty good. Basically, with Skaab, you can just make so much mana that you can just kill them in their upkeep. That's the idea. Or you can just play out a whole bunch of creatures and attack. But I do enjoy my Boros matchup. And there's the Prismatic Strands that they discarded. Okay. So Thraben Inspector. So now they have Strands up. We'll take 3. They'll go up to 24. We'll go to 7. Draw. I'll take the Swamp. And I'm just going to be lazy and cycle them. So I can have 6. Time is going to be a factor when trying to beat Prismatic Strands. Okay. I mean, we're looking pretty good so far. What is this? Battle Screech, okay. So next turn's probably our go turn. Now they're going to flashback the Battle Screech. Yep. And we'll take 4, falling to 13, and they'll go all the way up to 28. Draw. Let's Dark Ritual. I'm going to cycle the Ash Barrens for the island just to remove it from our deck so we don't draw it. Let's go grab that island. Play the island as our last turn. Cycle the Vantasaur. Cycle Stinger. And let's Cabal Ritual. I don't quite want to burn the songs yet. Cycle the Stinger. Cabal Ritual. Storm is 3. So we're supposed to burn both songs here just to increase storm count. And we're going to end up leaving 1 creature in the graveyard. Okay. Return all of our friends. I do have this other Reaping the Graves. So we're going to get to do this again. I just need to draw into some mana here. Go to 11. Keep cycling. Okay, so this Teachings represents another Songs of the Damned. Cycle the Horror, cycle Stinger. Ball Ritual. Cycle Healer. And there's the Songs. Cycle the Vantasaur. Another Cabal Ritual. We have plenty of mana. Okay. Cycle Stinger. And cycle Architect. Every day we're cycling. Blood Celebrant's a good one. Okay, so they're going to need to respond to this Drannith Stinger with their Prismatic Strands. Or else I can kill them. And they are going to wisely respond. Okay, so the game plan now is we just build up to get them in their upkeep. Okay, so I'm going to... How many songs are in our... It doesn't really matter if I cast the... I guess it doesn't matter. Let's just cast the team. We'll get the last song. Cast it. Let's Reaping the Graves. Okay. Just returning a bunch of creatures. It's fine. Everything's going delightful right now. I'm not actually worried about the Prismatic Strands. We should be fine. Okay, let's add red. Red. Add a white. Play this the healer, I mean, not the stinger. Cycle the horror. Auto yield. So what we're looking for is a lotus petal. Okay, cycle. Cycle. Because lotus petal would allow us to win in their upkeep. Okay, that was good. Still just need a petal though. I think there's still 4 in our deck. I just need to hit one. Cycle the horror. Street Wraith. Cycle Vantasaur. 2 mana floating. Cycle this Architect of Will. No dice yet. So I'm gonna ritual. Cycle here. 23 cards. Okay, well, I just need to hit a Lotus Petal. Cycle the healer. We go down to 2 mana floating. I'm not crazy, like, there are Lotus Petals in my deck, right? Skaab. Cycle Barrenmore. Okay. So this seems a little bit odd, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast the songs, add a blue mana, play Skaab, get back the song, exploit, back songs. Now let's cycle this. Okay. All 4 Lotus Petals are in the bottom 18 cards of our deck right now. I add a blue. Play the ploy. There are some Lotus Petals. Discard this Teachings. Okay. In their upkeep, let's cast Dark Ritual. Songs of the Damned? Okay. And now let's flashback Mystical Teachings. We're just looking for Storm Count. Get Dark Ritual. Cast the Dark Ritual. And Reaping the Graves. This will return 5. Don't want to return Skaab this time. Okay. 39 life. We have even more life than our opponent. Each cycle is good for 3 damage here. So we need to cycle 10 times to win. After the one that I had done previously. Okay. Prismatic Strands just isn't the beating that it used to be. Like, Blood Celebrant really changed that. So did Skaab by just providing you with a bunch of mana. Okay. Pretty easy so far. We just need to hit a few more cyclers. Okay. We need one cycler. And that should do it. Get our opponent with Ash Barrens. Cycle Barrenmore. Like I said, time was going to be the big thing here. And Ash Barrens for the win! Okay, game number 1 over Boros. Like I've mentioned, I do like my Boros matchup, so I'm not shocked that we won game number 1. Let's look at a recent Boros list and figure out if they have Graveyard Hate. Pyroblast, Dust to Dust. It looks like this list does not. 4 copy of Battle Screech, I do like that. I like the more aggressive list that exists now. There used to be some more dirtily ones, and I really like the Battle Screech Rally list. Okay, so that was Lenny's. It looks like these decks don't play Relic right now. They're just all in on beating Affinity with 4 copies of Dust to Dust. Okay. This one has 2 Relic in it, but it's not common. It's also a paper F&M event, so you never know. Yeah, I think we're good. I'm just going to resubmit, I think. Just try to do my plan more efficiently, you know? No need to water it down by boarding in, like, Shredded Seals and Mountain or whatever. Reasonable hand, I'll keep this. When I'm taking a mulligan. And they kept it. Play the Barrenmore and pass. Second Plains into Seeker. Got it. Draw. I'm going to cycle Street Wraith, because if I draw an untapped Swamp, and I did, I would consider not cycling the Barrenmore to keep it as an additional cycler. Okay. We'll pass the turn here. Because our choke point, I think this game is going to be finding the Reaping the Graves, not land drop. So I'm not sure if I'm going to play these out yet. They picked up all 3 copies of Squadron Hawk. We're going to go to 16. Oh, I forgot to board in the Flaring Pain. I'm a dummy. That's like the second time it's happened in a video recently, too. I guess you saw that I didn't need it game 1 to win, but it would be nice if I could remember to board in my Flaring Pain versus the Prismatic Strands deck. There's a Reaping the Grave, so I'm going to play out a Barrenmore. Theoretically, I could try to force the win right there. I'm not going to do that. Like, if they want to hold open Prismatic Strands, they can. There's Inspector. Yeah, I need to start remembering to board in Flaring Pain. Also, it's possible that we could probably cut Flaring Pain. I don't know. I don't have strong opinions on it. It's just a thought that I've had. Let's cycle this. Okay. Play 1 copy of Songs, and then let's play Ploy. I might be willing to discard a Lotus Petal here. And then cycle. Another Reaping the Graves, pretty good pickup. Cycle Stinger. Teachings was a good one. Alright, Storm 9 is what we would need to return everything. So I'm going to cast this Mystical Teachings to go get another copy of Songs. Cast Songs at Storm number 7. Reaping the Graves would be Storm number 8. You know what? I'm going to flashback the Teachings, but I'm not going to cast the Songs yet. I'm going to sit on it. And this will allow us to return all of our creatures. And then I can do some cycle tricks here and then try to get a little bit more out of the Songs of the Damned than just playing it for 9 mana. And our opponent has conceded. Okay. Well, now we're 2-1, even though I forgot to board in Flaring Pain. Mistakes all day. That's what I've got for you in this event. But we're 2-1. We're climbing or crawling back, whatever word you would like to use. Yeah, this is a 7-round event, so there's 4 more rounds. I just need to play better, if I'm being completely honest. But we'll see what happens. Match 4, we're on the draw against Condescend. I faced them earlier in my league, and they were on Affinity. I believe that they were just straight black-red. And here we have no lands. I can't afford to keep this. Did it mulligan? It apparently did not, so I'm gonna click mulligan again. Okay. We're gonna keep this. The question is, what do we bottom? I think it's supposed to be the architect. Try this out. Okay, draw. Play the Morin, pass. Probably going to cycle the Ash Barrens for a Swamp on my upkeep. There's the Atog, damn. Best start. Take a draw. Pass the turn. From sorry, you might be wondering, like, why cycle the Ash Barrens and not just, like, double cycle? That's a fair question. I think that the real answer is that I'm trying to get closer to Cabal Ritual Threshold. Blood Fountain, okay. So our opponent's going to put us to 19 here. This represents 10 damage. I'm dead to a couple cards next turn. Okay. Let's cycle the Horror. Drannith Healer, take our draw. Whoops, I accidentally hit my mic there. Sorry. This is 11 damage. Gav Blast would be 15 damage. And then 2 more artifacts would be lethal. I think I'm supposed to just cycle the Street Wraith. See if I can pull off a turn 3 here. I'll take the land. That's not bad. Cycle. Let's cast Dark Ritual. Cycle. Okay. That wasn't great. I'm gonna cycle the Stinger. Need to hit. Boy. I can't afford to cycle for the island. So I'm gonna play Cabal Ritual and then cycle Stinger. Hit songs. It gives me a little bit of life here. So now we can return up to 4 creatures. Gonna need to get kind of lucky in order to win that. Street Wraith, 4, Healer. Okay, cycle Street Wraith. Cycle the Dino. I mean, I need another songs. There we go. Cycle Healer. Cycle Horror. I've already played my land, so that doesn't help. And now I can return the Stinger and cycle it. Okay. Songs of the Damned. It's 8 mana. I'm going to try cycling this to see if I could hit another ritual. Boom. Reaping the Graves. Return the Stinger. Okay, so let's return Street Wraith. And that's our only Street Wraith, so it doesn't really matter what we return after that. Okay, so cycle Street Wraith going to 13. Cycle Stinger. We've already used 2 songs. Alright, so that means that at the worst we can play Ploy this turn. Okay, cycle Stinger. Alright, cycle Horror. I'm gonna cycle it. Hit, please. Not a hit. So I think what I'm supposed to do is just play Ploy and gain a bunch of life and pass. Okay, blue, black, cast Ploy, discard Ash Baron. Hopefully they can't kill me from 32. And we'll discard Ash. Okay. Prism. Courser. Disciple. So that would have been lethal had I not tried to do something. Atog getting in there. Okay. I can also play the Blood Celebrant as a blocker for next turn. Discarding a card to draw a card with the blood token. I guess they're waiting. Architect. So, alternatively to playing Blood Celebrant as a blocker, I could just play Ploy this turn and gain like 3 life. I don't know if that's actually good enough. But it's an option. I like the idea of cycling, so let's go to 29. Okay. Cycle the Horror. Okay, so I could play Celebrant still as a blocker. I lose 1 life off the pedal. So let's flashback the ploy, or jumpstart the ploy. Discard Architect. Keeping the teachings around, I want that. And for the other Architect, so we went up to 32. I'm sorry, 33 and then 32 to play the Blood Celebrant. Sure. So now we have a blocker. Pass the turn. And next turn, if I'm alive, I can try to win. And they did have blue. I thought that our opponent might have just been straight red-black, but it looks like they are playing blue. 26 life is a lot to work with. Draw. Go to 24. Beautiful draw. Alright, let's cast the Cabal Ritual. Cycle Stinger. Cycle Healer. It's important not to lose too much life, by the way, because our opponent does have a Disciple. So, like, Disciple plus Fling or something like that. So I don't want to be over-excessive with these Street Wraith cycles. I'm going to play the Petal for Storm, but I don't think I'm going to use it. I'm a little bit worried about, like, a surprise, like, Fling killing me or something. A little bit paranoid, I'm aware. Okay, well, let's play Reaping the Graves. This is Storm what? 7. Healer, Stinger, Blood Celebrant, Horror, Stinger, Stinger. Okay, so I'm going to play Celebrant. Looks like they're still F6. I'm going to lose a life. Cast this. Alright, so the scary part's done because they can't kill me in response now. I was a little bit worried about that happening. Okay, so we can just keep cycling. Well, I guess I can play a Stinger. And at some point I can flashback the teachings for Reaping the Graves. Okay. 22. Now we can cycle. Auto yield. Cycle. So I realized that I missed a few points of damage there. I don't think that's going to be relevant, or at least I hope not. Alright, cycle this. Draw. Okay, Cabal Ritual. Dark Ritual. Things. Get the Reaping the Graves, cast it. Return the whole graveyard. Okay. Turning all the dead friends. So we're going to get game number 1 over Affinity, and they are playing blue, but Adam is actually the reason, our opponent's Adam Yurchek. Our opponent's the reason why I decided to switch the plans before the event. After I faced Adam, during my first match with Adam, I was on the board-in Dispel plan, and then just got, like, duressed a few times, and I was like, why am I doing this? Like, and I'm losing to Disciple plus Atog. Like, I should really just be playing like gain life effects if I'm worried about Disciple, Gav Blast, and Fling. Okay, so we stole game number 1. And now we need to get one of the post-board games. Let's bring in the Nas, that in the Forest, and I think we're just boarding out the Architects. So I do know that Adam is boarding into Duress, so you might be wondering why not board in Skaab. Well, Adam's probably also boarding in Pyroblast. Plus, Skaab is kind of clunky against Affinity, so I don't really want to be slowing myself down too much. I'm going to try this. Okay, turn 1 Blood Fountain, draw. That was a good draw. So we're going to play the Baron more. In my upkeep, I'm going to cycle for Mountain, and then probably cycle Stinger on their end step. Not turn to Atog, I'm down for that. Alright, or Mountain, I meant the Forest. Do I want to get Island? I can probably hide the Green Splash with the Petal. So let's get the Island. Draw. Okay, and I'm just going to be lazy and cycle the Healer now. I don't love all of our lands being Baron Moors for what it's worth. It's just very slow. Okay, not Atog. I'm good with not Atog. Deadly Dispute. Sure. They got a treasure. And just like, okay. Draw. Play the Baron more. I'm just going to be lazy and cycle these now. Okay, next turn's the go turn, I think. I'm going to need to draw a little bit better. I need some Cabal Rituals and some songs. All right, Deadly Dispute, we lose one here. They got the treasure. Thoughtcast. Still 2 open mana. There's a Duress. Damn it. Okay, so Reaping the Graves is probably leaving our hand now. Yep. And is this another Duress? They're just using the... Okay. Another Chrome Star. Now we take 5 going to 12. Draw. Let's cycle Dino. Teachings isn't bad. Cycle. Play a land. Cycle. I'm gonna hold on to the Petal for Storm, I think. A little bit worried about death here. So you can attack for 5. Attack 2. That's 7. Yeah, Blast would put me to 1, assuming they couldn't sack anything else. Maybe I am supposed to just go. Alright, let's try it. Cycle. Dark Ritual. Cycle the Barrenmore. Cycle Healer. Petal. Petal. Songs. Cast Teachings. I lose 1 life. Okay. Pick up a Reaping the Graves. Not a whole lot of mana here, so I'm gonna have to get a little bit lucky. Okay, no Street Wraiths in there. Alright, we want to draw Songs of the Damned. There's 3 in the deck. Kind of a tall ask. Okay, let's cast that. Gives me a little bit more mana to cycle with. Cycle. There we go. Cycle. I'm going to cast this here because I want to keep the colored mana open for Petal. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Okay, things are really going now. Cycle. Go to 9. That doesn't matter. Cycle. Cycle. We want to keep enough mana open to flashback Teachings for songs. And before that returns, I'm going to do that play. Go get our songs. Cast it. Alright, now we can let this resolve. Whoops, not trying to cast you. Let's cycle this. Go to 7. Cycle. And I'm going to cast the ploy here. Not only because it makes Storm count, but because it's going to gain enough life where I can cycle those Street Wraiths a bunch again, and that's the main goal for me here. Okay, so Cabal Ritual, cycle Horror. That resolves. We're at 25. So even if I fizzle now, I've gained enough life where I'm going to feel a little bit more comfortable. Alright, so Street Wraith, Healer. Okay. I think I got everyone. Cycle this, 23. Okay, just keep going. 7 mana floating. Cycle. I'd love another Lotus Petal. Cycle. Really like a Lotus Petal. 21 is still not that safe. Another Gnaw. Okay, so we're running out of mana now. This was sort of what I was worried about. Okay, that gives us a little bit of life. We've already played a land, so keep that in mind. Cycle. Good draw. Okay. Keep it going. Cycle. 13 cards left in deck. Celebrant was a very good draw. We haven't hit the Skaab yet, but I just need to keep going. We have 11 cards left in deck. I need to hit mana. We still have another songs in there. Should I stop? So I need to stop and think here because we have 10 cards. Really need to look at my graveyard. 1 song, 2 songs, 3 songs. We have 1 songs left in our deck with 3 draws to look for it. And we have 2 copies of Lotus Petal. So the reason that I want to stop and think is if I stop here, I can play Blood Celebrant into Ploy to gain a buttload of life. And then they won't be able to kill me on their turn. But then they'll have interaction for the following turn. So I think I'm actually supposed to just risk it and cycle here. Okay, didn't hit. Cycle healer. Come on, deck, please. Okay, that gives me a little bit of life. Cycle the healer. Okay, 7 cards left in deck. Cycle Street Wraith. There's Petal. Okay, cycle Stinger. So the next one is a blank. It's not an actual draw. Because it's just not. This is a Street Wraith return. So now this is our last draw. So the bottom cards of our deck has the songs in it. So if I cycle, I could risk not hitting. But I would get 2 attempts at it between these two. So I don't know. There's also another Petal in there. I'm gonna risk it. Because like I really don't want them to untap with something to disrupt me. I know there are Skaab is in there, a Lotus Petal, and a songs. Am I correct here? 1 songs, 2 songs, 3 songs. Yeah, there's still 1 song in there. Cycle. Cycle. There we go. Okay. So we're gonna sacrifice this for a black. Boost life from Disciple. Songs of the Damned. Play Blood Celebrant. We have 3 cards left in deck. I'm gonna turn off auto yields. Jumpstart the Ploy. Discard this. Discard Swamp. Play Petal. So our bottom card is Skaab. Cycle the Street Wraith, pick up the Skaab. Blue, play the Skaab. And the reason I'm doing this is it's going to make a bunch of mana. Sacrifice it. Get back the Songs of the Damned. Cast it. Reaping the Graves. Okay, I just need to not mess up here. Okay. Clicking on our creatures, and now we just return them. And I never need to draw the last card of my deck. That's not a concern. Okay. 7 minutes left on our clock. Okay. Once again, turning off auto yields. Add a red. Add a red. Add a red. Play Stinger. Let's play Stinger. Cast Stinger. Add a red. Play Stinger. Now cycle. We're just never going to draw. We're only going to let the triggers resolve. Okay. And then cycle. Adam said some nice words in the chat about Repository Skaab. Yeah, it's really sweet. And we're 3-1 over the best deck in Pauper. Just need to play tight and, you know, keep it up. We are now over halfway through this event. 3 rounds left to go. Match 5 on the draw. We're going to keep this. I'm not going to... Like, land cyclers into songs, that's definitely a keep. Our opponent's taking a mulligan. It's so weird playing Pauper where, like, I don't look up my opponents most of the time. So, plus, like, I feel like Pauper... I do like my Bogles matchup, but we're on the draw. Another thing about Pauper is I feel like people can switch decks a lot more easily so that information doesn't matter, but on top of that, my deck just sort of does its thing or it doesn't. Alright, so we're looking for land number 2 on our turn. Decent start for the opponent. Fast start for the opponent. We're going to 13, facing possible lethal next turn. I'm going to cycle the horror. And I think I'm just going to move to discard. I don't want them to know that I have Street Wraith or knock myself down to 11. Okay, if they have it, they have it. Okay, 8, so I'm going to go to 5. It's go time. Go to 3. And I did not hit, so I have to cast songs. 5 cards. Cycle. Cycle. Now we have Threshold. I can play Cabal Ritual. Cast it. Cycle. Dark Ritual's good. Cycle. Dark Ritual. Cycle Stinger. A little bit nervous here. Don't know what to... I'm gonna cycle the Barrymore and hope to hit a ritual. Hell yeah! Alright. Let's play this Reaping the Graves. We're not out of the water yet. Okay. Question is, do I want to return a Street Wraith? I think the answer is no, because there's still 2 in the deck. There's our land drop. Cycle. Do another one. Cycle. Teaching. So if I draw the island, I can go get another songs. Dark Ritual. Cycle. Dark Ritual. Getting kind of lucky here, but I need to keep going. There's our blue source. We can go get Songs of the Damned now. Cycle this. Cabal Ritual's a great hit. Wow, I'm getting very lucky this game. Alright, so I had a blue. Cast Teachings. We're gonna go get songs. Cast songs. I'm gonna hold the land still. And I'm holding the land because I want the blue source so I can play Repository Skaab later. Return everything that I can, including those Street Wraiths, because if I draw into a deploy, I want to be able to cast deploy and then cycle those. So let's cycle this now. That can be our blue source. How many songs have I used? Because I can Mystical Teachings for another song still. Cycle. Another Cabal Ritual. Wow. Okay. Super lucky. Up to 16 mana. Cycle the Vantasaur. I can't believe I'm winning this game. Like, this is just insane. The amount of hits that I've had. Okay. Keep cycling. And at some point, I'm about to run out of cyclers because we had more storm than we had creatures to return. Okay, so I can go to 1 and cycle this if that's something I want to do. But it means that I can't use, what is it called? Blood Celebrant. I'm just going to cycle. So that one I cannot use unless I want to die. Return the Stinger. So let's cycle the... Actually, let's go get the island out of the deck. I want the island. Click. Play island. Cycle the Barrymore. Can't use that. Cycle. Cycle. There's another Teachings. I want to make sure I haven't used all my songs yet. 1 songs, 2 songs, 3 songs. I do have 1 more songs left. So let's tap this. Let's go get that last Songs of the Damned. And let's cast it. 14 mana. Alright, so this is going to be for 20 Storm. And right now I'm sort of considering, what if I play a healer so that way I can start cycling these Street Raids. Okay. Move back through just to make sure I didn't misclick on any of them. Okay, so these are all going to come home now. All right, 19 cards left in deck. I've played all 4 copies of Songs of the Damned. And I have 1 Lotus Petal left in the deck. I'm going to add a white. Play this healer. Add a red. Play the Stinger. And cycle. Now let's start auto yielding. Okay. Cycle this. Okay. Auto yield. Cycle. Maybe this wasn't the best line. I don't know. Because I don't have a whole lot of mana left. Let's cycle this. There's the ploy. I need to hit the Lotus Petal. There's only one left in those 14 cards. Okay. There's Celebrant. So I can play Celebrant to gain a boatload of life here. It's not the worst. And then I can come back next turn. Okay, so let's play this. Add a blue. And it's pretty free to cycle one more thing here. Because there's no Songs of the Damned for me to hit, so I'm not going to be able to keep winning this turn. If I had more mana, I could play the Skaab, but it's not the end of the world. I'm fine with passing, especially when we're going to gain all this life. We can just discard a land. We're at 38. And let's just move to discard. Discard this. Okay. Just need more mana. I don't even know how many rituals I have left. So we're just going to take 11. 3 double lifelink here. Let's cycle. I basically just need to be able to start playing the Skaab, so that way I can get back to songs. So I've used all 4 songs, I know that. Let's count Cabal Rituals. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've played all of my rituals, so I actually have to get up to Skaab mana the hard way. I wonder if I should just like play a Stinger here. Is that crazy? Now let's attack for 5. I don't know if I'm going to win this game. There is one Lotus Petal in our deck. I suppose if I draw that next turn, I can play Petal, Skaab, Songs, Reaping the Graves. For 17, that's a lot. So they're going to gain 34 here. I don't think I can win this. I think that they raced me. Yeah, I think they got me. Cycle healer. I'm just dead. I don't think I can win. It is fizzled out on mana. Yep. Wonder if I should just I'm gonna see what the rest of the deck is. No, I'm at 15 minutes. I should just go to game 2. So I might have no. I guess you could argue that I wasn't supposed to play Stinger. I think I was supposed to play the healer because the healer allowed me to start cycling the street rates again. So you could argue that I wasn't supposed to play Stinger, save 2 mana, and then try to hit the Skaab. It's a tough call. All right, let's just focus on the next 2. Let's not get hung up on that. Let's just try to win, play tight. The downside is even if I win game number 2, we will be on the draw for game 3. I just need to win this quickly. Took a lot of time in that first game to not win. On the play. Keep. I'm just gonna like start doing this like I'm gonna start hitting F6 like pretty quickly. I basically just don't want to waste too much time. Right, upkeep, we're gonna grab the island because we drew the ploy. If I didn't draw ploy, I was just gonna play it. Really need to save our clock. Grab the island, draw, play it, cycle healer, hit F6 and pass the Thriving Grove. Okay, so that means that there's no white enchantment coming down this turn. Another Bogle. Okay, so we're gonna go to 19. Draw. Cycle the Stinger. Cycle the Baron more. Pass the turn. What is that? Armadillo Cloak. Okay, so we're taking 4 here. Sure. I'm going to play the ploy. Just because I feel like we need some more cyclers. Plus it gets me closer to threshold. So let's cast ploy. Discard metal. Pass the turn. Don't have a whole lot of creatures, which is a concern right now, but with this Reaping the Graves, I can burn one of them. I can also possibly jumpstart ploy. Alright, so the Abundant Growth gives them a colored mana that can interact with us, which is kind of scary. I'm sort of hoping they just tap out here. Alright, and there's Mask. So we're taking 8 this turn, which means that they have lethal next turn. We have to go. Draw. Okay, I like drawing the creature. That's huge. Alright, so let's cycle Vantasaur. And now we have Threshold. We can play Cabal Ritual, cycle Vantasaur, Cabal Ritual. And we only have 5 creatures, so let's just Reaping the Graves right now. We don't need to use the songs yet. Okay. Cycle. Cycle. Just need to win quickly. Skaab is good. Cycle. Okay. Test that. Cycle this. Metal. And cycle this. Alright, I'm going to jumpstart the ploy here. Go down to 1 black floating, discard the Ash Barrens. We can get rid of this one. Alright, so songs. Sorry, I'm playing a little bit quickly. I probably should have discarded a petal there. Actually, no, or the Blood Celebrant. It's fine, though. I'm like just trying to play speed magic. I'm afraid of timing out. Okay, sacrifice this. Back songs. Okay, songs. Now Reaping the Graves, return the Skaab. Okay, and now we return the creatures. Just trying to click through pretty quickly. I'm gonna play a Stinger here to start dealing them damage. And then we can use Skaab to possibly get back the Reaping the Graves if we need to. Play Stinger. Cycle this. Auto yield. Auto yield. Okay. Songs was a great draw cycle. Set this up. Okay, I like the Street Wraith pickup. Cycle Vantasaur. Cycle the Horror. Perfect. Cycle. Auto yield. Cycle the Healer. Alright, let's cast Dark Ritual. Cycle Vantasaur. Cycle the Barrenmore, why not? Alright, so they're down to 20 now. Cycle the Street Wraith. Trying to get the most out of the songs that I can. Cycle Street Wraith down to 10. Okay. Let's cast the songs. Got a blue. Got Skaab. Void, sack that. Back songs. Cast songs. And Reaping the Graves. Turns 21. Okay, clicking for as fast as I can while trying to hit all my targets. Down to 10 minutes. Okay. Cycle this. We have 15 mana floating. Okay, that was a huge one. Play that. Cycle Horror. Cycle Horror. I'm just going for the creatures that I know have the yield set up on them already. This. We're at 8 life. Just trying to not accidentally kill myself with Street Wraiths. Cycle. Down to 10 minutes. About to be slightly under. I'm not showing my opponent Darkness. I don't want them to board in like Flaring Pain or anything like that. Okay. And we've gotten game number 2. Alright, so we're at 9 minutes and 50 seconds roughly. Should be enough time for game number 3. And I'm just going to resubmit. Okay, this sand is fine. We just need to hit land number 2. And maybe draw a few more rituals. When it took a mulligan, we're going to keep. Hit that F6 button. All right, forest into... Prison color was white. Draw. Play the Barrenmoor. Pass. We have 2 looks next turn. Actually, 3 looks next turn for land number 2. Okay, so now they have 3 mana. Okay, Pilgrim. They get an aura of their choice. Probably Mask or even Ethereal Armor. They got Cloak. Okay, draw. Alright, so let's start on Cycling Street Wraith. Alright, another Songs, that's pretty good. I'm going to burn the Dark Ritual here to cycle. I was worried about Storm Count, but I think I just really need to hit, my cards. Cycle this. Cycle. Alright, so I did not hit a land there, but I did find this 1 black mana Time Walk. Okay, let's see what color they name with the Grove. White? Okay. It gets scary when they can tap for a blue or a red. This is Cloak. They have 3 cards in hand. Now they're gonna gain some life. Reaping the Graves. I'm gonna move to Cleanup. And discard this. And then in their upkeep. No, I'm gonna see what they do here. Okay. 7 damage. That's 13. Cast Darkness. Now next turn we're forced to go for it. There's our island for Skaab. Oh, that was such a huge draw. Cast Songs. Cycle. Cycle. Okay, and now we cast Skaab. Which we're going to exploit it. Get back Songs. Okay. So we need more Storms, so we're going to play all 3 copies of these. Plenty of mana in our pool. We'll play Skaab. This is spell number 6. We're at 13, so we can afford to get back Street Wraiths. It doesn't matter. Cycle to 11. Go! Okay. Cycle. There's a blue source for the Skaab. I love it. Cycle. Cycle. Keep it going. Dark Ritual. Plenty of mana. Keep cycling. Land drop. No, I've played my land. My bad. Cycle. Okay, so this Skaab is... This is actually a tough choice if I get Songs or not. Oh no, I guess it's not, because I can get it back with the Reaping the Graves. I'm sorry. That's not a tough choice at all. So we'll play Skaab. Get back Songs. Exploit it. Get back Songs. Cast Songs. Reaping the Graves, return Skaab. And if we need to, we can use the Skaab to return the Reaping the Graves. I think that's everything. Now I can just play Double Stinger and start winning. Okay, add a red. Play Stinger. Play Stinger. I'm also going to play a healer. Just so that way I can cycle the Street Wraiths a little more freely and not have to be worried. Cycle. And I can just set up my auto yields. 6 minutes on clock. Plenty of time. Okay. Darkness came up clutch here. Cycle. Plenty of time. Alright, cycle the Core of the Broken Lands. Auto yield. Auto yield. Well, I guess it's not an auto yield. I already did that. Cycle healer. Our opponent's taking a pause here. Not sure why. Okay. Cycle. Dark Ritual. Ball Ritual. We'll pull a couple lands out of the deck. Okay. Cycle Ash Barrens. So this is going to put them to 5. We get the Swamp. Cycle Barrenmore. Okay, they're at 3. Cycle the Horror. And cycle Horror. So we never even needed the Street Raids. We had it in us the whole time. And we won the match, even after that game number 1. So we're now 4-1, 2 rounds left to go. We just have to keep playing tight, no more mistakes. That's it. Let's see if we can make this into a true Cinderella comeback story. All right, round number 6, and we're on the play. Seems fine. We'll keep this. I think we're supposed to lead off on the Swamp and cycle Horror. And the reason that we lead off on Swamp is that we can then cycle Barrymore on turn 2, where if you lead off on Island, you can't cycle double black on turn 2, which is a little bit awkward. Okay, so we're just going to go Swamp Pass. And they kept 7 after a long time of thinking about it. Are they on the mono white deck? Not quite sure. I'm just going to cycle. Okay, so we've picked up another land. I'm going to upkeep, just pull a Swamp out of the deck. I don't want to flood here. Draw. Jeez, and this is a flood. Cycle Barrymore. Okay, Songs isn't the worst. I hope it's just like Mono White Soul Sisters that's really slow, because that would be good for me. I don't remember what Disturbed. Okay. Oh, it's what the Hermit Druid, or Malevolent Hermit has, not Hermit Druid. Okay. I think it's just like Mono White Heroic, if I had to guess, but maybe I'm wrong in that it's Soul Sisters. Okay, they're cycling Ash Barrens. For a mountain. I don't really know what's going on. Is this like a Boros Faerie? Oh, I mean, I guess it's Boros, but like, it's not the Boros that I'm thinking of, I believe. I'm just going to cycle Barrymore. I'm going to lazily cycle these in my phase. We're looking for a Reaping the Graves at this point. And we've run out of cyclers. That is not good. Okay. 25% of the way through our deck at this point. We have 4 Reaping the Graves, 2 Mystical Things. Okay, what are you casting? Rolling Discover. I have no clue what our opponents. I really don't. Double Prismatic Strands. Okay. I mean, that's pretty good. It might actually be... 2 is a lot more difficult to beat than 1. So now I'm nervous about this game. Okay, draw. Celebrant. And I think I'm supposed to cycle this Stinger. You could play it here to maybe beat a Prismatic Strands, but we're just not at that point yet. Okay. So they're a Boros variant. Battle Screech, okay. Yep. I'm just gonna... Maybe I... No, let's block. Having the creature in the graveyard is just better for everything. So let's draw. Cycle. Killing me, Smalls. We just flooded out this game. Okay. Gaining a bunch of life. Squadron Hawk. I need to remember to board in Flaring Pain for game 2. We're not out of this yet. I can win if I just draw an action spell. Our next draw will be 33% of the way through the deck. Okay, we're taking 5 here, going to 13. Draw. Try it again. Cycle. Kidding me. Alright, we're probably dead to rally, but maybe our opponent isn't playing it. Who knows? Like, they fit a lot of not typical cards in here, so you never know which version they're actually on. But I can try to find if their list or anything like it is in Goldfish. I'm not seeing anything like it quite yet. Okay. And here comes Rally. Yep. Okay, we got destroyed. Our next draw will be the action card. Nope, Ash Barrens. So we were super dead. That's a really big bummer. Import in the Flaring Pain, take out one Architect. And let's try to get the next two. I am a little bit worried that our opponent on this weird build could have Graveyard Hate, and I'm not going to side in the sales. But I don't think I can afford to. I'm not seeing anything like their list. Okay, well, I at least remembered the Flaring Pain this time. Just have to try again. I mean, we went pretty deep into our deck for not hitting one of 6 action spells. Or even the Ploy. Because the Ploy could have gotten us, you know, another 4 deep. Okay. Game number 2, we're on the play. Deep. I mean, I'm not going to ship these hands. I just need to draw better. So, we can cycle Healer. We might not want to cycle the Baron more. Who knows? Okay, let's cycle this. I'm going to play the land. We just have to trust that our deck is going to draw an action spell. A Sacred Cat and Boros Garrison. We'll take one here going to 19. Draw. Skaab. So if we can find a Reaping the Graves. Cycle. Okay, there's Teachings. That's a good sign. Need to find some more cyclers first, though. Tapping for 2. They do have a land in hand that we love. Faithless Looting. And maybe the reason to keep Flaring Pain is for those games where your opponent does have double Prismatic Strands. Quadrant Hawk. And now they can do the Battle Screech. Yep, draw. And flare. Needed a creature there. I think I'm just going to play the Celebrant and pass. It's a little bit risky. I shouldn't have 6. Because I might need to Cabal Ritual Teachings if they try to kill it. Maybe I shouldn't have played it. Okay. Another Battle Screech. They're probably going to try to kill me next turn. Yep. A lot of creatures. 6 cards in hand. I'm going to have to try to win on my turn. Come on, deck. Please be good to me. Give me a few cyclers. Draw. That's a good start. Cycle. Okay. So Dark Ritual. Burn a Songs. Can add a blue. Play Repository Skaab. Get back the songs. Exploit the Skaab. Turn songs to our hand. So now we have 4 creatures, 5 creatures. Okay, 6 cards in graveyard, 7 cards in graveyard. Now we can Cabal Ritual. Cast Teachings, making it blue. 11. And let's get Reaping the Graves. And I'm going to cast Reaping the Graves, target the Skaab. And then target Street Wraith first, and then the other creatures. So I'm going to cycle Street Wraith here, just trying to eke out a little bit more mana out of these songs. Okay, going to 7. Cycle the Stinger. Now the song's at 7. Now we can let this resolve. Go to 5 life. Okay, cycle. Ball Ritual's a good one. Okay, and now the Skaab comes back. Go to 4 life. Play Skaab. Sacrifice it, and we're going to return a songs. Songs. And let's cycle this. Let's go pull the island out of the deck. Let's save a life here. And cast Teachings. Get Reaping the Graves. And return everything. I'm not going to do any cycle tricks this time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a healer so I can cycle these Street Wraiths. I'm probably not going to play a Stinger because I'm worried about running out of mana. Alright, so let's cycle Healer. Gain some life. Alright, Cabal Ritual is good. Should I play Stingers now? I can't really cycle if I do that. I think it's a mistake to play the Stingers. It's just too early. Okay, so that's fine. Cycle this. Songs is a great draw. Cycle. Going up to 6 life. Cycle the Architect. Going up to 7 life, 7 mana and pull. Draw. Cycle. Cycle. Again. Dark Ritual. Let's play some copies of Lotus Petal. So I think the play here is we're going to return Songs of the or not Songs of the Damned, Reaping the Graves. And then with that Reaping the Graves, I can bring back the Skaab to get songs. Where's Reaping? I could do the Teachings for them, but Teachings is 6 mana to flash back. Like, it's just so expensive right now. Okay. Return everything. We're at 5 life. Okay. So I could go to 3 and play 2 Stingers. I'm still worried about running out of mana right now. We used 2 songs, 3 songs, 4 songs. All the songs are gone. Oh my. I'm not drawing towards any, so I should probably play these Stingers. Okay. So we're going to go to 3 life. Cycle. Okay. So now I can go to 2 life and cycle this. Cycle Horror. Need to draw like a Cabal Ritual. Alright, so I can cycle the Street Wraith and go to 2. 6 mana currently. Okay, I'm allowed to cycle the Street Wraith and go to 1. Okay, Cabal Wraith was very good. So the reason I was counting the mana is we can still scab back a songs, but I don't think we need to now that we hit the Songs of the Damned. Or not Songs of the Damned, Cabal Ritual. Okay. Dark Ret. Cycle Horror. Cycle Horror again. Cycle the Dino. And that's the end of game number 2. Okay, we just have to get game 3 now. That would like a nice easy game for me for once. Pretty nervous. Okay, on the draw for game 3. So this hand's pretty good. We do need a second land, and we wanted to find like a Songs of the Damned. That's what this hand needs, but we're not going to ship this. 15 minutes is plenty of time on the clock. Teachings was not a good draw. We don't need that. Okay, and they're starting off strong with a Squadron Hawk. Basically, I just have to respect Rally, because if my life total gets too low, it's bad. Draw. Good draw. Okay, let's cycle these. We need to find more creatures. Not a ritual. Creature? A bummer. Pass the turn. I could consider Dark Ritual Reaping the Graves just to get cyclers back, because we have another Reaping the Graves already. So if I need to, that's a line I can take. What is that? Lock? Okay. And now we take 2 to 7. Draw. Do I pull the swamp out of the deck? Or do I just, like, get the double cycle in? Because I can go Ritual, cycle. I think it's just play this swamp. Dark Ritual, Reaping the Graves. Let's get these back. I just need cyclers. Okay. Cycle. Cycle. Pass the turn. Alright, we're at 17. There's a Battle Screech. So now, next turn, they're representing lethal with Rally. I need to draw some creatures. Okay. 15 life. Killing me. Cycle. Go to 11. That wasn't the worst draw. Okay. We're at 6 cards in graveyard. This will be card number 7. Cascabel Ritual. Cascabel Ritual. Cycle. Lotus Petal. We have 6 cards in graveyard. Let's cast Teachings. Go get Songs. Let's burn this one, and then Reaping the Graves. We can do some cycle tricks before we do the next one. Cycle this. Go to 9. Clearing Pain. Don't need that, unfortunately. Cycle. Cycle. It is 5. 3. Okay, that was good. Don't need the land. We can return. Lotus Petal. Songs of the Damned. So here's the thought. I have triple Street Wraith in my graveyard. Right now, I could Mystical Teachings for Ploy. Cast Ploy, gain a bunch of life, play songs, and then be able to cycle Street Wraith again. I don't hate that. I'm going to do that. Let's go get the Ploy. Get a blue. Cast it. Discard Swamp. And the Ploy also made up for itself a little bit in mana. I mean, we did have to burn 6 mana for Teachings, but it wasn't that bad. Should I cast the Ploy again? Interesting thought. I think the answer is no. Okay, let's return everything. I think I'm just going to play Stinger and start cycling. Okay. We have 3 Street Wraiths that go through. And in case I fizzle, I can always Ploy to gain a bunch of life to put me out of rally range. Okay, 7 mana. Oh, I have 4 Street Wraiths. That made the Ploy play even better. I thought it was only 3. Okay, Cabal Ritual is a very good draw. I'm not going to pretend that it wasn't. Okay. Ooh. The Skaab just sealed the deal. We got this. Okay. Just need to finish off our opponent here. Dark Ritual. Cycle Dino. Okay, let's play another one. We have enough cyclers. We can get the job done. We don't need the mana fixing. Cycle Dino. Cycle Dark Ritual. Cycle the Baronmore. Ball Ritual. Cycle Stinger. It puts them to 3. Hey, Ash Barrens for the win, I guess. Okay, so that's 5-1. There's 1 round left in this event, which means that it's a winning in round after that disastrous start. Let's see if we can get it. Round 7, the final round. We're on the draw. We've opened up a hand that has songs, Cabal Ritual, tons of great stuff, but no land. Unfortunately, we have to ship that. And we can keep this. I think we're supposed to bottom the Skaab. We're just not in a point in the game where we need that card. Alright, what is our opponent playing? Plains? Oh, this is the mono-white aggro player from the last league I recorded. Okay, so I know what their deck is. I just need to draw Cyclers and Reaping the Graves. It's just mono-white aggro. I had some Anthems in it. Okay. In theory, this should be a good matchup. I lost to it in my video because I just drew really poorly. Okay, let's cycle the Baronmore. Okay, so I need to hit a creature into a Reaping the Graves off the Street Wraith draw. Vector. Okay, they have 3 cards in hand. This is a fast start for them. We're taking 4. So I'm going to go to 14. And then next turn they have an attack for 8. So if they have the Anthem, I'm dead. Cycle. Baronmore. Cycle. All rituals. This is what happened to me in that league and I lost. Damn it. Okay. Not looking good. I mean, even if I drew Reaping the Graves, like, I'm only returning 2 creatures. And now they are going to play their +2/+2 Anthem and kill me. Oh, they don't have it. So you're saying there's a chance. You just need to draw Running Cyclers into Reaping the Graves. Okay. So this is our last shot, so I might as well, you know, cast the rituals into it. Go get the island. Play Ploy. Come on, deck, please. Please be good to me. Cycle creature, Reaping the Graves. Let's go. Okay, I hit. So it's gonna sound crazy. You're supposed to discard songs here. It just doesn't do anything. So that's why. Like, it makes 3 mana. Where these are 5. Okay, let's cycle a healer. Card we have to think about out of our opponent's Mana Tithe. Oh, that wasn't... We needed another creature. I'm just gonna cast the ritual. This is only for 3. We just didn't draw creatures this... Yeah, I don't think we're gonna win this. Even if I hit Lotus Petal and a Ploy, like, that buys me a turn, but I'm so far away from rebuilding. Cycle Healer. Cycle Horror. Cycle Stinger. Teachings, that doesn't do anything. Cycle. Go to 2, cycle. Cycle again. Cycle. Okay. Technically, it gives me a little bit of life, but not much. So I need to... Oh, so I have 1 draw to hit the songs. I guess I could hit a Petal into the Ploy, but pretty sure I'm just dead. Cycle. Yeah, that's not going to do it. Cycle, and now I lose the Mana Tithe if I do hit. Songs? Oh, it resolved. Okay. Cycle. Cycle. Come on, give me a Lotus Petal, please. I have to hit Petal. If I hit Petal, I might actually win this. Cycle. Pretty soon it's going to be the Street Race, and I can't actually cycle those. Please, deck, give me a Lotus Petal. So I have 1 healer draw. Uh-oh. End of the road's coming. I have 1 draw off a healer. Alright, this is it. If I hit, I win. Oh, I should have cast the songs in response to these returning. Oh, that was dumb. Please, deck. Cycle. Songs. If you didn't Mana Tithe the first one. Alright. Cycle. I have 4 petals in the bottom 26 cards in my deck. Damn. The Petal would have won. I had a bunch of draws to hit Petal there. That's defeating. Alright, game 2. Alright, so I do have 3 copies of Darkness to bring in. I don't think they have any way of interacting with that, so let's bring those in. Sort out the Architects. I just need to not fizzle. This should be a good matchup, but I lost to it yesterday. From what I saw, they had no way of interacting. I just need to draw better. Can't believe I almost pulled that off. Draw, or be on the play. Sure. We're just going to bleed on the Baron more. Opponent kept. Play Baron more, pass. That was a heartbreaker of a loss. That game could have been ours with a few different draws here or there. Or Falcon. Alright, cycle the Horror. Cycle Healer. Pass. Graven Inspector. No second land? No second land. Okay, cycle Horror. Cycle the Street Wraith. Cycle Stinger. Okay, we're in the same spot. I have to draw an action spell. Our next draw puts us 25% of the way through our deck. We do have this Time Walk in our hand. Okay, Chevaliers. Oh, they hit their land. So I can't play out Celebrant now, or I guess I could. But it takes me off of drawing Teachings as an out if it dies. So it's kind of a problem. I think I'm just going to discard a Dark Ritual. Can't believe I'm going to lose top 8 on not drawing into an action spell. Back-to-back games where I just, like, drew the wrong half of my deck twice. Alright, so this is for 5. Would put me to 8. Okay. Okay. That's 7. Just need to draw well. Alright, so I need to Darkness this turn, because otherwise this could kill me on the following turn. Cast Darkness. Hit F6 and hope that we draw something. I mean, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. Come on, deck, please. Cycle. That's it. I think we're out. I mean, the hand was a keep. We just didn't draw. So what I can do is I can play the Blood Celebrant as a possible blocker and hope they don't have any way of pushing damage through. Okay. So right now, that's 7 damage. Oh, and then they... Never mind. I'm just dead. Yep. I was just eliminated from top 8. That's a bummer. We just didn't draw ball this round. Both games. This game we were 1 card short of being 33% of the way through our deck with 6 cards to hit. And our opponent attacks and we're dead. I just want to see what my next draw would have been. Just drew blank. Another song. So we didn't have anything coming anyway. That's pretty big disappointment. But if we look at here, I was in 6th place coming in. My breakers are not that great. So in order for me to make top 8, I would need our round 1 opponent to win. I would also need Condescend to win. I guess like they helped me as a breaker, but like I don't think I'm gonna make it. So we'll see what happens. But I think I'm out. Thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. A little disappointed that my 2 losses were to me being a dummy and then me drawing the wrong half of my deck. This deck is really good. I just didn't perform today. It's not on the deck, it's on me. But let's just see. I guess Rotor is another tiebreaker. Maybe if everybody wins, I could squeak in. Wishful thinking. Thanks for watching. Hey, Bryant Cook here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, but also follow the social media channels down below. If you want to support this content directly, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/shop. And if you need a little bit of assistance with the Epic Storm to get to that next level, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/tutoring. Don't worry, there's more great content coming right up.